The days are growing shorter and the nights longer. As it gets darker sooner than earlier, leaves fall from the trees, and even the air becomes crispier. The whole of nature reminds us in a very powerful way that everything is passing away, passing away. And the first reading from Malachi and the gospel reading from St. Luke also remind us that not only nature, but also man-made structures are soon to fall and pass away. And I ask myself, is there something of me, something that I do that can be lasting, that will be here a little longer than me? My dear sisters and brothers, last weekend we began a new message series called The Joy of Giving. And today we are on the second weekend. And my job today is simple, in a sense, easy. I'm here to say a big thank you. What we inherited from our founding parishioners, you have built on, developed, and you have taken it to a new height. And I want to say thank you. Look at the way you have enhanced liturgy. The word that is proclaimed, the word that is broken here, the music that has grown exponentially, the ministries in which hundreds of ministers are engaged. You have lifted our parish to a new height. Congratulations and thank you. May God bless you. Talking about enhancing liturgy, I also want to share with you what goes on here thanks to your joyful giving. Between St. John Vianney and St. Mary, we have 81 weekday masses. Can you believe that? Monday through Friday and Saturday morning included, 81 masses and 2 priests to celebrate. And on the weekends we have 36 masses. And by the way, canon law tells us that priests can celebrate only 2 masses and maybe a third one with special permission. I hope my bishop is not listening. My policy is this: when children sit at table, Mama cooks. And when parishioners come for Mass, we preside at the Mass. In the month of October alone, we had 9 funeral masses. And we also had, in addition to the 81, 36, and 9, another 4 masses in facilities, thanks to Father Chris. It all was made possible by your joyful giving. Thank you. May God bless you. Look at also the encounter with Christ through the sacraments. Do you know how many families came for baptism preparation the whole of last year? Or this year? 160 families. And we had 83 baptisms administered here and all the others in other parishes across the country. 96 children received First Communion. 37 were confirmed. And we have a host of children, I want to call them a legion, 128 participating in Children's Liturgy of the Word, the future of the Church. This ministry is very close to my heart. It shouldn't be out of sight, out of mind. And our pastoral care ministers visit the homebound and those that are bedridden, God forbid. 61 of them are visited on a weekly basis. And by the way, this doesn't include John Muir visits or Kaiser visits. The numbers would be in hundreds. 37 weddings we've had in our parish community. That is practically one every week. The next area where you contributed with your joyful giving is towards discipleship. There are 251 children in faith formation, 41 young adults. That's a very potential group. There's a lot of energy there. And they call themselves 20s on Tuesday. We also have St. Mary's School with 302 children learning not just academics and scholarship, but also religion and faith and the way of God. This one is huge. We have 48 small faith groups in our parishes with 436 members in them. Thanks to the leadership, to the leaders of those groups or facilitators, and thanks to every member who's part of it. I hope I can say someday that everyone in our parish is of a small faith group. At least 41 registered for OCIA and for adult confirmation. Vacation Bible School or camp was a big hit this year with 242 kids going through it. Grief ministry. We don't leave our bereaved families in the graveyard, in the cemetery. We walk with them the journey of faith. 34 persons families were helped. 16 individuals were helped with divorce and separation recovery of 10 weeks. That's a huge commitment. Thank you for making that possible, to the ministers and to all of you who joyfully gave. And one last category that I want to mention is community engagement, because we are family. And so it's about family engagement of St. John Vianney and St. Mary. After the morning masses, we have a hospitality. It's not because you can't go home and cook, but we want you to feed each other, nourish and nurture each other, and build and forge new relationships. And our hats off to the Pastoral Bereavement Committee or Council or Ministry. When someone dies and they have a funeral mass here, we invite the families for a celebration of life in Mullen Commons, where we foot the bill, thanks to you, and we prepare the food. There were 26 banquets that were celebrated just for them in the past year, and we had 2,360 guests. So many meals served. Winter Night Shelter is on for the 22nd year. You make it possible. You are so very generous with food and clothing for them. May God bless you as you serve the Christ in the poor. Talking of the poor, I want to commend your generosity towards Vincent de Paul. They have been real stalwarts in this. They met with 13,630 individuals in the last 1 year alone. Taken that number, 13,360 individuals, which means that many families, and you supported them. And you know how much of food was given out in your name to the Christ in the poor? 56,028 pounds through Vincent de Paul, 5 loaves and 2 fish, birthright, and crisis monument, and so on. So my job is to say thank you, and that is simple. Together, you have lifted our parish to a new height. An image comes to my mind. I have never lifted a barn, but Herman Ostry of Bruno in Nebraska has. When he bought a land with a barn in it, a nearby creek rose and submerged the barn, 29 inches of water in the barn. And the man was heartbroken, discouraged, disheartened, and feeling defeated. Half jokingly, Herman said, "I wish I had enough men to lift the barn to a higher level in our land. One of the children was listening, Michael, with an engineering background. And he made some calculations, taking into consideration the frames, the timbers, and the nails, and arrived at 19,000 pounds to be the approximate weight of the barn. And that it would take 344 able-bodied persons to lift only 55 pounds. But the challenge was, how do they get hold of the barn? And Mike, the son, came up with an ingenious plan. He formed a gird that went through the barn and around, providing handles for the barn lifters. And one bigger question, where do you find 344 people? How do you mobilize them? Fortunately for the family, the centennial celebrations of Bruno was approaching. And Herman, the creative farmer, suggested and mooted the idea of a barn lifting contest. Crazy it sounds, right? And word of it spread all through our country. And would you believe it? On the appointed day, 30th of July, 1988, thousands of people, tourists and visitors, came pouring into Bruno to witness the barn lifting. They came from 11 states. And when Herman stood there and said, 1, 2, 3, all 344 of them lifted the barn. And it rose like it were nothing at all. And they carried it 50 yards to a higher ground in 3 minutes. How did they do it? One mind and one heart. One purpose, one direction. My sister and brother, you are the ones who did it. You lifted the barn of our parish to a new height. Look at all those numbers. There is something magical about a parish community that learns to dream and envision in prayer, patience, and perseverance. You did it. Good job. Congratulations. May God bless you. When you and I plant with purpose and wade through storms, we can emerge with new structures that can last for generations. We have done it. Now in the new year, we can do it. Your joyful giving has made all this possible. Think again. COLA, cost of living, goes up. Uninvited, unasked for. It is inevitable. However unwelcome, it comes into everybody's life. It comes into the life of the parish as well. And so, to all those who give, I say thank you. I join you in this. Let's up our giving a little more. It's for God and our church and our country, for our neighborhood. Everyone who gives, make a decision to raise it a little more. We can do it, we must do it, and we will do it. And to those who are still to give, you are family. You belong. We love you and we respect you. Come along, join with us. Together we can do great things. We can lift our parish, our barn, to a new height. You don't have to be great to make a start, but you have to make a start to be great. So, those who are still to give, those who are sitting on the fence, come along. We are family. Let's join hands. This is our parish. This is our neighborhood. Somebody asked me, Father William, how do you give? It was a loaded question. I said, I give electronically. And I gave 10%. And that was not overnight. It is 10 years of growth since I joined our community. And I have arrived at 10%, and I intend to up it a little more. Start somewhere. And by the way, one silly trivia, personal trivia. Every first of the month, it goes automatically from my credit card to St. John Vianney and to St. Mary. Because I want my giving to be planned giving, a priority giving. And I also want to make it a percentage giving. And it is a purposeful giving because I have a need to give. So do you. And I also pray. It's a prayerful giving. So my sister and brother, you all received the commitment card by mail. Fill it out with love. Fill it out with joy. Fill it out cheerfully and generously. It's for God and our church. And it all comes back to our children and our children's children. Shouldn't we be generous and joyful? Because greatness is not an inheritance, it's an investment. Think about it. Investment in time and money. And God seems to need us. He wants us so much, He seems to need us. Let's be joyful in giving. Ask yourself as you bring up those commitment cards next week and doing the offertory, does this gift represent my love for God? Or is it reflective of the generous gifts God has given me? One more question. If everyone gives as I give, each of you to ask, if everyone gives as I give, will that be an asset to God and the church, or will it be a liability? My sister and brother, with one heart and one mind, one purpose and one direction, we can do it, we must do it, and we will do it. Together we can lift our parish, our barn, and carry it to a new height. May God bless you for your joyful giving. Come prepared for a week of fun next weekend. It's